Welcome to the Rent to Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent to rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nicky Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Ask the Angels, where we answer your rent-to-rent questions. If you would like to have your rent-to-rent question answered, go to renttorentssuccess.com/ask, ASK, and record your question there, and I will answer it for you right here. We've had another great question today from Sonya, and it's all about AML registration. That's anti-money laundering. So here's Sonia's question. I'm getting conflicting information about this and was hoping you could clear this up for me. I have applied for a business bank account and they have requested even my AML registration details. I've been told that I don't need that for rent to rent. I looked on the government website, and from there, my understanding is that you only need it if your transactions will exceed £10,000 or more. Others are telling me that I need it. It costs £300 per property or office. I'm not sure which. What is your opinion on this? I would very much appreciate it, as it's another expense I could well do without, as I'm not even managing any properties yet. Oh my gosh, Sonia, this is a great question. And I meet so many people who've wasted money on things they don't need and had the stress of scrambling around on the internet for information and receiving conflicting information from all sides, all because they're trying to save money by not going onto a program or a course where everything is explained for you. And the irony is it ends up costing them more money. So let me first explain what AML is. AML stands for anti-money laundering. I know you know this, Sonia, but other listeners may not. So the government requires anti-money laundering registration, and it's there to ensure that certain companies dealing with transactions over £10,000 investigate the source of any funds coming into their business. And this is to prevent the laundering of funds from crime through legit businesses. Anti-money laundering registration is not required for rent-to-rent businesses, so we don't need it for a rent-to-rent business. However, you will need it for a property sourcing business. And your business bank account probably asked you because estate agents do need anti-money laundering. Obviously, they're selling properties which cost a lot of money, and the money that is being paid for those properties, they need to go through checks to ensure to know where the money has come from and that it's a legitimate source of the funds and that the funds have not come from crime or another unlegitimate source. So that's the answer, Sonia. You don't need it for rent to rent. You do need it for property sourcing businesses. If you're in the Kickstarter program, you'll see the step-by-step of everything you need to set up your rent-to-rent business compliantly, all the websites to go to, and all of the detail right there for you. It's in M3.4. So in summary, Sonia, you've got the answer now. I'll say it again. You don't need anti-money laundering registration for a rent-to-rent business. That's why it's so important to know all the details of how rent to rent works, because whatever new business you're starting, there is so much to know and there are so many shortcuts. Make sure that you are starting from clarity instead of confusion. If you're new with us today or you don't know much about rent to rent and you want to find out more, check out our free Rent to Rent Success Masterclass. It's at renttorentssuccess.com/guide. That's GUIDE. That's all for now. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on rents to rent. You can find it at rents2rentsuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rentsuccess.com/book. And I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.